G'day, Finroo here, how you doing? This is the second take of this video. This is my New Year's Eve special. Better pour myself a special beer. Cheers, hang on a second. I've just kegged this about 20 minutes ago. I force carbonated it, especially for the show. We'll see how we go with this. So this is what the beer was that I said that I was going to do, which was the Screaming Yelling Monkey from Stoneyard Vineyard over in America in Buffalo, where they're being actually pounded by blizzards and snow, just like, you know, we just wouldn't get here in New Zealand. He's talking snowdrifts that would be 6-7 feet up the side of the garage, and the whole of that area where the blizzard's attacking. I've never seen anything like it. I guess you guys over in America have seen it before, in England and Europe and that sort of thing, but here in New Zealand, if we get an inch of snow, the whole place shuts down. We're freaking hopeless. But that's but Stoney here, he puts the videos out of, they had this massive, it was like something to do with the lake and the weather, and dumping all the snow on his property, and then 2 weeks later he gets this blizzard coming through. So I think those fellas, I think you guys in Buffalo and all that sort of, I guess it's the top area of the United States, are in for a bit of a hammering this winter. I mean, I don't know, but you know, so be safe. It was pretty serious stuff, to be honest. But thanks, Sony, for putting the videos out of that, because it's very, very interesting at the end of the day. So what I've got here is a couple of weeks ago I brewed, but I brewed this Screaming Yelling Monkey peanut butter stout. But I was sort of humming and hawing and procrastinating and carrying on with the using the peanut butter in it, what Stoney uses is an extract that he got on, I think he said he got it on Amazon, and I took that into consideration and thought about it and hummed and hawed, and then I tried to get some from New Zealand, couldn't get it, but at the end of the day I got the malts and got everything ready, and so I thought, look, just brew it as it is without the peanut butter and see what you come up with. And what I've come up with, thanks to you, Stoney, is an absolutely beautiful, creamy stout. Although it's not a peanut butter stout, it is absolutely magnificent. So cheers, everybody. Cheers, Stoney. And yeah, and Happy New Year. And here's to a really good 2023. Cheers. Oh, it's absolutely beautiful. It's the recipe is absolutely superb. And let's just have a quick run through this. So the basic recipe, I didn't mess with it too much, did a little bit. You got to go with what you've got. So it was 10 pounds of two-row malt. And I cut that a little bit because it was, I've only got a small mash tun, and I can sort of only really brew beers around the sort of 5.5%. Then it starts getting a bit full. So I just cut it back by a bit, so it's probably about 9 pounds of two-row malt that I've got, but I will leave a link to Stoney's peanut butter stout recipe video, which is very, very good and definitely worth a watch. And the recipe and everything is all on there. And someone's ringing me, Laura. And so carrying on from that, 10 pound of two-row, we've got 8 ounces of carapils, got 8 ounces of Special B, and 8 ounces of Munich malt. Now, the interesting thing about this is, quite often when I'm using specialty malts, I'll always go for 200 grams, 200 grams, 200 grams, 200 grams. What a brown malt, 200 grams of chocolate malt, or whatever. And I see this recipe has the same, 8 ounces is about 200 grams. So that sparked quite an interest for me. 5 grams of black roast barley malt. So that's cool. We managed to get that organised. 3 ounces of coffee malt. Now, we had a bit of a problem with coffee malt because I did a bit of research and brown malt kept coming up. And so I spoke to Jared at the brew shop, and we Googled it and had a look around, and we said, yep, I think we think it's brown malt. So we put 3 ounces of coffee malt, which is 3 ounces of brown malt, which didn't seem like a lot for brown malt. So I'm interested to hear whether you guys think that brown malt is a good substitute for coffee malt, or whether we should go more for dark chocolate or something. I don't know. 6 ounces of chocolate malt, and 2 pounds of flaked oats, and we went for rolled oats because that's what we had at the brew shop, and so I cut it back a bit. So 2 pounds is nearly a kg, and so I backed down to 500. I've done some oatmeal stouts before, and I've always gone for around 500, so that's what I went for. So the recipe is pretty much the same with what I could get and what I could use. So, and I was happy with that. Boy, geez, am I happy with that. Maybe it's even better if I could get the exact recipe. But never mind, it doesn't matter. And so moving on to the hops that I used. I used 35 grams of Willamette hops, and I haven't used them very often in beers, but it's nice to have them on board again because they smell really great. So I used 35 grams at first wort, and I do an 80-minute boil. Stoney, I think, did a 60-minute boil, but in my process, I always do an 80-minute boil. So that's what I went with, and first wort. How much difference it makes, well, we'd have to compare side by side, wouldn't we? And I put 20 grams of Cascade in at 20 minutes. Stoneys used, he uses fresh Cascade hops, and he put them in, I think, well, from memory, I might be wrong here, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, close to the end. But I put them in at 20 minutes, and I used some Irish moss like he does too, and good couple of pinches of yeast nutrient. So sorry about that. Yeah, yeast nutrient. So that worked really well. Had a good boil. Had a really good brew day. I didn't take the original original gravity. I didn't take it. I was that knackered at the end of it. I just wanted to put it in the. I mean, the brew day was great. Don't get me wrong, but I was just so stuffed at the end of the day. I just put it in there, sprinkled the yeast in, and just leave it. About 5 days later, I came back in here and cleaned up. That's how bad it is. But it was ticking away really nicely, and when I thought I think it was after, it took quite a long time to, I think Stoneys went on for around 20 days. I think he was fermenting his for, and he got down to 10, 20. And I, I was 3 days at 19 degrees. And then I bumped it up to 22 degrees for another 7 days. Was another 9 days actually, because it was still fermenting. And so then it looked like it leveled out in the things, and I thought, okay, I think pretty sure it's stopped now. So I did a reading, and it came out at 10.08. So my final gravity was 10.08, and Stoneys was 10.20. So, and it is what it is. There's 101 things that can happen in that, and I don't want to go there because I'll only be pretending that I know, and I don't. Sometimes it happens. Next time I do it, it might be 10.20. So next time might be 10.12. So just don't know. But I'm happy with 10.08. I would have been more happy with 10.12, and that's what I was sort of expecting with the dark malts. But really, when I think about it now, it was only 6 ounces of chocolate, 3 ounces of coffee, 5 ounces of roast black barley, and the rest of them are pretty much lighter malts, aren't they? So, yeah, the flaked oats, a couple of pound there, or one pound, whatever it's about. So, yeah, we'll see. Anyway, at the end of the day, it's a beautiful looking beer. I think you'll agree. As I say, I've only just kegged it about half an hour ago, and I did a bit of forced carbonating, just give it the foot shake, the foot roll. You know about that? I mean, it smells absolutely wonderful. And my neighbour came over, and he with a rigger of beer the other day, one from a very well known South Island brewery that I really rate, and this has got more body. This is really, really good. This is wonderful. This is a wonderful beer. I like to try them side by side actually. But that's wonderful. So happy that I've got onto this and I chose this one, and I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do a pale malt next, and then I'm going to. Oh God, I am missing the tired bastard, the dark malt. Maybe I'll do the dark mold next, and I'll come back to this and put the peanut butter in and bottle it like I said I was going to. So that may be the plan of mice and men. So that's wonderful. Thank you, Stoney. And then as I said, I think it was about 3 days at 19, another 9 or 10 days at 22. And then cold crashed it for 3 days, 2 days, cold crashed it for 2 days, and I've just kept it. So beautiful, beautiful home brewing. So that's really good. So the next thing I want to talk about is that I watched but things have been a bit quiet, don't you think, on the old brew tubing. I'll have to get out and have a look around at some of the old mates that that I haven't been watching for a bit. They're still there, but I haven't heard much from anybody. Bearman's been putting out some content. The guys in America from, Bumpy Road Brewery and all his mates, they're still doing their live shows and their things. But I think that, and the Pommy guys there, Cheshire and DTS and all the guys that just escaped me at the moment, and I know you so well, and I'm sorry that I've forgotten your names. I haven't seen any content, so I hope everything's well with you guys. And it's not a bad thing. I think Tube Dino said he hadn't put out a video for a while, and he said, it's quite good to just give it a miss for a bit, and if you don't brew for a few, 3 or 4 weeks, it's not a big deal. When you come back to it, you really realise that how much you enjoyed it, and it's like a bit of a rest. It's like anything, and I think that's probably fair enough. So, but I am missing you fellas, so take care. And I just wanted to put this video out and wish you a very, very merry happy new year, and thanks, Stoney. And I want all you guys to keep brewing, because we're brothers and we brew together from all around the world. So let's keep this brewing going, and brew on. Cheers. Take care. Ooh.